spanning 4 decades of their career. The new album is called Forever. It drops tomorrow. And then Saturday, you can be there on the opening night of the exhibit at the Rock Hall with the band. So good luck. Call 10. You get my last pair. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Pro tip, if a cop pulls you over and they hear you listening to this, they're probably just going to let you go. Because, you know, they figured you suffered enough.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7
Live and all that other stuff. None of that really kind of scratched me where I itch. But I think that John Bon Jovi is he's a very fascinating guy. They've just, there's a documentary on Hulu on Bon Jovi right now. I forget what it's called. Thank You and Good Night, I think is what it's called. But he had throat surgery, pretty extensive throat surgery. Like they implanted synthetic vocal cords or something. So I don't think they've performed live in a couple of years. But I guess he felt comfortable enough to do a new album with the guys. Richie Sambora is still out of the band, but you have to give them credit for hanging on, man. They're still around and still doing stuff. Next week on the show, we will be out Monday, but the remainder of the week, I will have passes for a bunch of shows coming through. Remember the band Switchfoot?
Yes. Yeah. That's a Mare band.
A Switchfoot is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their big album is called The Beautiful Letdown. They are on the 20th anniversary tour of that album, and they're going to play the House of Blues in October. The band Ghost is debuting their feature film in cinemas nationwide the 20th through the 23rd of this month. And I'll have passes for you to see that if you're a Ghost fan. If you like a band that looks like death metal and sounds like Elton John, a Ghost might be for you. And then our own Bill Squire, of course, is your next host on the Cleveland Funny Bus. And at the risk of repeating myself, the reason that I do that is because I try to get the information out to people so that they're not confused. But people can't be listening all the time. And so what you get is last night when I'm hosting the Funny Bus, people still think that Bill and I are the ones giving the tour. And it turns out that's why a lot of people are buying tickets. We are not your tour guides. We're your hosts. I did last week. Bill's doing next week. I'll do the week after.
With a joke or two.
Yes. We had Julia Mary as our tour guide last night, who's very funny. Ran into our boy Brian Sternick because he's running a show there now.
At Collision Bend, yeah.
Yep, after we get back from the bus, so that was cool. But no, we are your hosts. You know, we'll get on and kind of dick around every so often. A couple
Take
of
pictures,
all that stuff. But the comedians there with the Funny Bus are they're your tour guide. They're great. Yeah. So Bill is your next host next Wednesday, funnybus.net if you want to buy tickets, if there are any left.
There's not many left.
There you go.
I think there's
like
8 left.
I will have 2 pair for you on Tuesday.
And then this Saturday, I'm going to be in Madison, Ohio at the Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill. You can get tickets for that at BillSquire.com.
Is that Darius Rucker themed bar?
I don't think so. Is it?
Yeah.
In Madison?
All they have is blowfish.
I don't know.
They have to be prepared very
perfectly,
specifically, so that no one
will die.
Yeah, becomes ill. Also, the Bert Kreischer Fully Loaded Comedy Festival is doing the Benson Hall of Fame Stadium down there in Canton on the 20th of this month. The 3rd annual Fully Loaded Festival. It's Bert, Tony Hinchcliffe, who was just on the Tom Brady roast, Whitney Cummings, Ralph Barbosa, Big J. Okerson, Dan Soder, and more.
Did I tell you guys the gossip I heard?
About one of those?
Tony Hinchcliffe?
No.
Okay.
That he's from Youngstown, Ohio?
I did not hear that.
Oh.
This is 100% green room comedy gossip. So I do not know how true it is. I probably shouldn't even be repeating it.
Let's go.
100% honest with you.
Come on, man.
But I heard through the grapevine that Netflix was really against having Tony Hinchcliffe on the Tom Brady roast. That they were like, we don't like what this guy does. We don't want him on our platform. This is not something we want to be involved in. And Joe Rogan had to personally call Tom Brady's people to have Tony Hinchcliffe on this roast.
I'm not a huge Tony fan. I get what he does. I get it's really popular. I get there's a lot of people who like it. I get that I think he deserves all the respect that he gets as a performer. It's just not for me. And so when I saw him on the roast, I was like, okay.
He did a good job.
It's fine.
But it
yeah,
was
I mean,
like,
you know.
From what I heard, nobody was interested in
I
it.
wonder
and
why.
Joe Rogan had to stick his neck out and be like, reach out specifically, like bypass Netflix to go straight to Tom Brady and be like,
People's
tell your
hate.
people that this guy has to be on this roast.
But why the big push for him?
I don't know. Well, Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe are friends.
No. But why? Who decides who's going to be who books
Probably
the
Tom Brady. If Tom Brady
Tom
says,
Brady books the comics,
or if he says, I want this football player, you know what
no,
I mean?
that, but I'm
Like,
saying like those things are usually just a showcase. Like I assume that comedians managers go, hey, she would be great for this. He would be great.
And there's
for
people
this.
that have like equity in roasts. Like Nikki Glazer's done other roasts, so
Right.
they're like, this makes sense.
Greg
Jeff
Giraldo
Ross,
used to be
Yeah,
the roast
right,
guy,
yeah.
you know.
And then you have people that are just kind of like Tom and Brett.
Tom and
Bert.
No shirt, Bert.
I feel like they were just like, most of their fans are going to watch this roast because they have a lot of fans that love football.
Right.
So they're like, let's get those guys.
Well, also
And then-
Tony, like I know Kill Tony is a really
Yeah.
popular podcast,
Yeah.
but I think most people watching that roast had no clue who he was.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like you're gonna get. So my thought
But
is
that's what
always
most celebrity roasts are like that. There's a lot of
Where these
comedians
comics, yeah.
that only people in the comedy space know.
I
and
mean,
they're like,
Amy
don't- yeah.
Schumer, Whitney Cummings,
Yeah.
like they were on roast, and everyone was like, "Who is this broad?"
And that's where they
you know?
cut their teeth and
But
made
that's
their
how
name. Yeah.
But that's why I wonder. It is a combination of people you do know
Mm-hmm.
and then like up and comers. So I wonder how that. I wonder why the big.
Well, I don't even think of it as up and comers because I mean Tony does massive tours. He does,
And he's been doing comedy for 20 years.
and he's yeah. And
no,
he's-
but I mean to that audience.
Right,
yeah.
right.
it's not an up and comer. It's more of a blending of we can't just have Drew Bledsoe do 20 minutes because it's going to suck. We need people that are actually good at performing.
that
they-
are writers
in
and
these
performers.
situations.
But they had him he and Schultz were both in the audience or something, and he got up, right?
I didn't watch it.
Tony got up out of they had him at a table in the audience, and he
Yeah.
got
Again.
up
Yeah.
and started like so he wasn't
This
even on the
is
dais.
secondhand gossip.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
even
he was-
third-hand,
he was-
complete speculation gossip. Just
Right.
what I overheard in a green
Well, it
room.
worked,
was a-
whatever
yeah.
it was.
It was
yeah.
a bit where Dana White was supposed to do something, and he goes, you know what, this isn't, and he handed the microphone to Tony Hinchcliffe, and he went around and started like doing this like kind of slow walk around the room up onto the stage and roasting people as he walked, and it was like it went over really well.
There's like a style or a brand of kind of like this like UFC kind of bro comedy
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't hit with me at all, and I kind of put him in that kind of thing, you know.
His
But I
voice
get it.
just-
I mean, like people really dig what he does, and you know, it's not. I wasn't unhappy to see him on the
Right.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
his
and
voice
honestly,
drives me crazy.
Getting on his show, Kill Tony, and if you
It's a
become,
career
like-
maker.
Yeah, it is making. I mean, Cam Patterson, is he going to be on next week?
Yeah,
Is he even,
yeah.
he's sold out. I mean, it's the smaller room in Hilarities, but he sold out 4 shows and they added a 5th.
Right.
Like just because.
Why'd they put him in the small room?
Adam Ferrara's here. I don't know.
yeah, Adam's
Right.
here too.
Yeah, I think they didn't know what they had. I mean, he can sell a ton of tickets, and there's a lot of guys that are selling a lot of tickets from doing Kill Tony.
And that's based at Joe Rogan's Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, his
Oh,
like
okay.
Tony Hinchcliffe's home is Comedy
The Mothership or what-
and
yeah,
they
okay.
do the podcast every week
Yeah.
from the Mothership.
It
Where
was
did they
originally
used to do it though?
At the Comedy Store when he still lived in LA.
Okay.
And then they moved it to the Comedy Mothership when they all moved out to Austin.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what did he get the cover of? Esquire
People
or
are
something?
people are telling me that he pretty much kind of copped to this. He told this story.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't hear that. Yeah, this was
Right.
just I heard some much bigger comics than me
Right.
talking about it.
Well, there's
and-
4 billion comedy podcasts. You don't know who's telling what story on
exactly,
what. Right?
exactly, yeah.
Right.
But I was like, bold move. That'd be nice to have Joe Rogan as a friend. To be like, hey, can you make a phone call and get me on Netflix? Like that'd be really cool if you could do that.
You
for
could
me.
be
Yeah.
on an upcoming Netflix roast, Mary.
Maybe.
Yep. They'll call you the next Nikki Glazer.
Oh, what I've always aspired to be.
Remember when Nikki was the next Amy Schumer?
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, because a lot of those people start off writing for the roasts.
Yeah.
Like Tony used to write for the roasts. And then they go, oh, you know, if Jeff Ross likes you. I assume that, like, Jeff Ross was booking those.
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
I think whoever's getting roasted probably has a decent say in it, right? And I would say most of the time they're probably like, I don't know any of these people anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
like, I don't care who you book. I trust you. But
Just
they
get
might be
somebody
like,
good, yeah.
they might be like, no, I don't like this person or something.
Well, that was my question, is because I don't assume that the roast subject is like, here's comedians I like.
Yeah.
You think Tom Brady knows who, you know?
Sam J. He's like, get that Sam J.
Well, that's what I mean. So some of it is just exposing people. And so that's why I wonder how they come to the conclusion.
Well,
We don't want Tony Hinchcliffe. Like, that's a specific, there's a guy we don't want.
Yeah.
And then it has to go. And would you, I mean, I guess that goes to show, because when these were on Comedy Central, like, they were fun, but it wasn't as big as a live stream on Netflix, obviously.
Yeah.
And so if you're the comic, you're going to push for it. But
Well-
it would feel weird to go, hey, my dad's going to call you. My comedy dad's going to call you and force you to put me on the show. Like, and
but it
why
doesn't sound like Tony asked him to do that. It
No.
sounds like Joe's like, hey, I'm going to stand up for my guy.
Like Joe
Yeah.
heard
Yeah.
that he wasn't going to be on it and made this call
Yeah.
and was like, hey, you need this guy on
But
there.
also, why would Netflix care what Rogan thinks?
Because he has an unbelievable like influence.
No, understood. But I like huge podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But like, what is Netflix worried about by saying to Joe Rogan, thanks but no thanks?
But he didn't call Netflix. He called Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady.
He called Tom Brady's people.
Oh, I see.
He bypassed Netflix.
Right,
And
but-
went straight to the source and said, hey, mate, you need to make an executive.
And then Brady goes to Sarandos or somebody, goes, hey, or whoever the EP is,
Yeah.
and goes, hey, I want this guy. And they go, okay.
That's what I heard.
But to me, the interesting part is why anybody involved with it would go, we don't want this guy.
Well, I mean, they say a lot of slurs, and it's not exactly the most politically correct to like Kill Tony podcast out there. And Tony's been
right,
under
but
fire.
roasts are all, I guess it's a
Sure.
different kind of slur, too. But.
I mean, he's been under fire for not being so kind sometimes. And I mean, there could be any number of reasons
I
why.
see. Showbiz reasons.
Right, why
Yeah.
Netflix is like not really our brand.
Gotcha.
You know? And again, 100% speculation. But people are in the chat saying that he talked about it on Two Bears, One Cave.
Yeah.
With Brett.
With Brett.
With Brett and Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
But
well.
then he was on the cover of a magazine right after that. Which one was it? Time or Esquire? Or he was like a big magazine.
Who was?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, I don't know. Probably not Time Magazine.
I think it was. He was the man of the year.
Who is this guy? Man of the Year? Time
Variety.
Oh,
Variety.
Variety. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a showbiz Hollywood periodical. Huh. Well, hey, good for him, man. Good for him, because at least that gets you in front of people
Well, and
who
that's
might
what I was-
otherwise not know you, you know? Because you're going to hit a ceiling with whoever's, you know, I mean, the podcasts, you know, do get really big, but there's a ceiling to that, too. You get in front of people doing other stuff, and that's good.
Well, I mean, is Tom Brady the biggest celebrity they've roasted? Or like the biggest, have they done athletes? I'm not super familiar, but like Tom
Did they
Brady's
do-
a big deal.
He's a big deal. But I mean, they did Trump, but that was before Trump was like a political figure, which
Okay.
put him into another level.
Dennis Leary, Jeff Foxworthy, Pam Anderson, William Shatner, Flava Flav, Bob
Yeah.
Saget, Larry the Cable Guy, Joan Rivers, David
Charlie Sheen,
Hasselhoff.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
So, but he's like, he's bigger than all these people.
Alec Baldwin, James Franco.
He's
James
bigger than
Franco.
Bruce. Well, maybe not Bruce Willis. It's different, but
Rob Lowe.
I mean, he has a
I mean, as far as
insane rabid following.
Yeah.
It seems like he's the first athlete.
yeah,
I know Peyton Manning's been like a roaster.
Well, I'm sure there's a reason why they were going to do a live stream of that roast. It's Tom Brady. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. That's a
pretty
whole,
big deal.
Whole different audience.
Yeah.
Football people are insane.
Well, and Netflix is going more for global audiences too.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing a lot of these live streams. You know, they're like, oh, you know, at least test the waters there. I've got to take a break here. If you want to get yourself to Blue Heron Brewery, if you're out Medina way or want to make the trip, everybody says it's pretty solid, man, and I have no reason to doubt them. So I'll get you $50 to Blue Heron Brewery in Medina. Voted best brewery by Ohio Craft Brewers. When your peers give you the thumbs up, that's good news. So we'll do